You might be sitting there and wondering, Lego, how can you make videos about Connor McDavid and what's happening with the Edmonton Oilers without talking about Evan Bouchard? Don't worry, my friends, that is exactly what we are going to address in this video today. Yesterday, we spoke about Connor McDavid, asking what the hell's happening to this guy, as the Oilers have now lost against Anaheim 2-1. They're down in the series. The Ducks had a domineering 7-4 victory in game number 3. And all fingers are pointed towards two guys. It's Connor McDavid, as we highlighted yesterday, but it's also Mr. Evan Bouchard himself. This post was made on the R Calgary Flames subreddit. It's poking fun at Oilers fans who said that Bouchard deserves the Norris, and then those same fans talking about how the guy's horrible and why he doesn't deserve the Norris. I think C-Sample 3843 has a pretty good introductory comment to this Bouchard conversation. He is the only player who can finish the night with 3 points and still be the reason his team lost. It's kind of paradoxical in my opinion. He is the only guy I can see score darn near 100 points and think, I'm glad he is not on our team. Now, just how bad has it been for Evan Bouchard? Well, if you take a look at what happened in game number 3 against the Anaheim Ducks, yes, it's true, Evan Bouchard had 2 points. He had 2 assists. But he was a -3 on the contest and was a part of a team that ultimately lost. It was even worse in Game 2. This is what Big Head Hockey tweeted out after that second game against the Ducks. Evan Bouchard had 26-16 time on ice, 0 points, and he was on the ice for 5 goals against. He was pointless through 2 games at home against Anaheim, before, of course, scoring his first 2 points of the series in Anaheim for Game 3. We'll see what happens in Game 4, as that is set to going on later today, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, later today, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see whether or not the Oilers have what it takes to bring one out. But the Evan Bouchard discourse has gotten pretty big as well. We have no choice but to talk about it. To help us out, let's head over to an article that was posted onto NHLTradeTalk.com by Jackson Weber earlier yesterday. Full disclosure, this will be in the description if you want to go out there and read it yourself. The article talks mostly about Connor McDavid, but there are some comments made by Bouchard, around Bouchard too. The Oilers were hoping to erase a 6-4 Game 2 loss at home from their memories with a better performance in Game 3. Instead, it was much more of the same fire wagon hockey, with the Oilers falling 7-4 and now trailing 2-1 in the best-of-7 first-round series. Connor McDavid was healthy enough, and he produced his first 2 points of the playoffs, but he is still looking far from the unstoppable version of himself the hockey world has come to expect. His acceleration and burst just haven't been there since suffering an apparent ankle injury in Game 2, and even before that incident, the world's best player looked off, mishandling pucks, among other uncharacteristic moments. If Edmonton wants any chance of getting back in this series, they'll need a lot more from McDavid, but the problem might be whether or not he is physically capable of it at this point. Mark Spector wrote this. You know what else has to happen? Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard, 2 pillars of this Oilers team, have to play much better. McDavid is hurt, we suspect. Though he had a goal and an assist Friday, his first points of the series, McDavid lacks the dynamic burst we have been accustomed to. McDavid has not pivoted on a dime once this series, a trademark move, and at one point he turned down a foot race against a Ducks defender that he had never shy away from when healthy. So again, Connor McDavid talk is definitely heating up. We had already spoken about that yesterday, but Evan Bouchard is right there with him, the guy who is known for his brutal fumbles whilst being able to produce point-per-game seasons. Even this year, the guy had 95 points in 82 games played. That's abysmal. Like, how are you going to go out there and score that many points and still not be a lock for the Norris Trophy? It is such an indictment against the talent profile he possesses, because we know Evan Bouchard is one of the best defensemen in the league when it comes to putting up points. It's just when you remove that last qualification on the sentence, when it comes to putting up points, you really start to get some mixed results as to whom the best defenseman in the league is. The tweet that spoke about Bouchard's Game 2 performance also got a decent amount of attention. He's been the best playoff defenseman for the past 3 years, but it doesn't count. But when he has 2 pointless games, which many other players are doing, and Marinsky doesn't even make the playoffs, you farm for clicks. The worst page on Twitter baiting for low IQ Bouchard haters as usual. Top Tier Hockey, obviously, is an Oilers fan. This other reply, Oily Big Dog, says, Bro says 5 goals against to disparage Bouchard like 3 of those weren't on special teams and 1 wasn't an empty netter. When McDavid isn't at his best, Bouchard struggles the most. Let's go out there and read some of these other replies. Okay, we got clips of Evan Bouchard literally just getting lit up and walked. But either way, 2 points to open up the series against Anaheim in Game 3. Not enough to propel Edmonton to a victory. We'll see what happens later today. If you head over to the previous 2 playoff runs, you can see that Evan Bouchard, he was decently consistent throughout the course of the runs themselves. I mean, against LA 2 seasons ago, he kicked things off with 4 points to open things up. He had 2 3-plus point games against the Kings to open up that series, followed up by 1, 2, 3, 4 multi-point games against the Vancouver Canucks. Add to this multi-point games against Dallas, and then he kind of fizzled away in the Florida Panthers series. That was 2 years ago. Head over into the series last year, and you can see that Evan Bouchard was still decently consistent, also putting up a whole bunch of multi-point games against the Kings. Seems like he does that a lot. 32 points in 25 games in 23-24, 23 points in 22 games in 24-25. This season, he's got 2 points in 3 games. Obviously, the point-per-game clip is still relatively close, but all of those points ended up coming in 1 game. To end this video off, let's dive into a comment made by Bleed Oil Blue on Twitter. This was posted yesterday, the night before game number 4. After sleeping on that Game 3, here's what I'm seeing. For the Oilers, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman, they all look banged up. Coming into their own zone, all 3 of them looked slow. McDavid has looked frustrated ever since the first period of Game 1. I've never seen him play like this. Bouchard has too many turnovers. Same goes for Nurse and Wallman. Ingram was solid in Game 1 and the first period of Game 3, but 13 goals against in 3 games is not good enough. The Ducks have a clear game plan and they're executing it. They're flying. That said, the Oilers tied Game 2 late in the third and had the lead in Game 3, make the right changes and control the pace in Game 4. But that sounds like a pretty big if. So, turnovers galore. Evan Bouchard still going out there and doing some of the things that made him an infamous defenseman in the first place. A guy who is so offensively gifted, but who just cannot put it together when he absolutely needs to. It's why he didn't make the Olympic team after all. Even though you could say having McDavid and Bouchard was kind of a given opportunity for building a Team Canada. With that said, I don't think Bouchard cares about that at this point. He just wants to go out there and hopefully help his team get up there and tie this series 2-2. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that's going to happen? What's going to happen later when the Oilers and the Ducks square off in game number 4? Is Evan Bouchard going to be a pivotal part in any sort of an Oilers victory? What have you been seeing so far? How impressed have you been, or unimpressed have you been with his play? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.